Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Heartbeat in Bartlett, where we discuss everything that's going on in Bartlett. We want to thank our underwriter at First South. This is my co-host, Teresa Griffith.
Hello.
And we also want to give a shout out to V2 Media for the production of this podcast. Thank you so much. Thank you. Today's program is focused on an important topic to many residents in Bartlett, and that is youth villages and its impact on the community. Founded in 1986 with the merger of two Memphis-based residential campuses, Youth Villages is now nationally recognized as a leader in the field of children's mental and behavioral health. Our guest today is Adeyinka Hansen, the campus director of residential services, and he's at the Bartlett campus at Youth Villages. So thank you for joining us, Hansen.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you, my friend.
Yes, sir.
So tell us a little bit about you. Tell us your role at Youth Villages. Give us kind of an overview of the mission at Youth Villages.
So our mission is to help children and families live together successfully. That's our mantra. That's our motto. That's what every day, that's our focus. So my job as the campus director is to, one, ensure the safety and security of all the staff and all the children on the campus. Also to ensure that we are promoting an environment where they can get their treatment and then get back in the community successful. Also, to help ensure that my staff are trained appropriately so that they can help promote and foster that environment where the kids are learning, developing, and able to get back into the community. So that's pretty much my job.
That's awesome, man. How did you first get involved with Youth Villages? And then how did you move into the role that you're in now? Can you kind of just tell us your journey? What's your journey?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm from Florida, Brevard County, and I had set on going to FAMU. Life changes happened, so I ended up going to school in northern Mississippi, maybe 20 minutes outside of Memphis. Good friend of mine was already working for Youth Villages and said, hey, I think this might be a good opportunity for you. So I went out to Youth Villages, did not know anything about Youth Villages, was not really aware that we even provided services like that to the community. So that was my start. I started as a direct care employee. They used to be called overnight teacher counselors. We now just call them teacher counselors because they don't have to spend the night at the end of their shift. And that kind of was my introduction to Youth Villages. I worked in Cottage 8 at our Dogwood campus, and I was in that role as a direct care staff for approximately 2 years. And then I kind of just transitioned into leadership roles, supervisor in the group home, manager in the group home. Ultimately, I received a promotion as an assistant director at our Rose Center facility. And then 7 years ago, I was promoted to the Bartlett campus director. So it's been a very exciting, fun ride. I've learned a lot. People always talk about the training, and I can't speak on that enough. Just all the work and effort they put into making sure the employees are equipped to deal with the intensive behaviors, to deal with the challenges that will occur when we're working with kids. It's very profound. We are working with children who have severe challenges and needs. And so our outcomes could be life-changing.
Absolutely.
So the work, the effort, the training, the development has to be top tier. And Youth Villages provides that. And that's why we have the outcomes we have with the kids that come and get our services.
That's fantastic. Well, I volunteered out at the school for several semesters teaching personal finance with First South Financial. And driving past there, I've seen a lot of construction, so tell us what's going on out there. How are you growing?
Youth Villages is always growing. We're always looking for ways that we can enhance the programs that we do have, and then also looking at what are the needs in the community with families, and how can we provide resources and services to help those needs, help those families. So right now with that, I'm adding 20 direct care staff to the campus to help support the staff we already have, but also be able to be extra support for the children. I'm adding a couple leadership staff. We've got a new sound program, music therapy, that we're going to be implementing here in the programs. So that's a lot of growth that we have specifically for our Bartlett campus. At our Dogwood campus, we have a lot of construction going on. They're expanding the school, 4 new classrooms, new cafeteria. They're adding a new cottage for placement for girls. And then we're also building a 3,500 square foot activity center that the kids will be able to engage in rock climbing. It'll have a movie theater that will house the Bartlett or the Dogwood drumming program. Mm-hmm. So it'll be it'll have a industrial sized kitchen where the kids can learn cooking skills. Right. So it'll just be another addition to provide services for the kids.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Another path, show them what's out there, give them the skills to do it, and then let them go.
Absolutely.
So that's good stuff, man. What do you love most about your job, Hansen?
Wow. Honestly, the impact that I can have on people's lives, the children, but also my coworkers. I've been at U Villages 19 years, and I get a lot of new staff straight out of college, young, first job into the workforce. So being able to be somewhat of a surrogate parent to them, helping them out with needs, challenges that they're facing, getting into the workforce. But most importantly, I think working with the kids and being able to see outcomes from the kids, knowing that the work is really paying off. When I see kids or hear stories about kids that have been at U Villages and they have positive results, I can see them in the community thriving. Mm-hmm. I hear their stories of, man, I was in the Air Force, or I graduated from colleges. That makes it all worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good stuff, man. Why did Youth Villages decide to partner with the Bartlett Chamber of Commerce?
Youth Villages has grown exponentially. And we are a staple in the Bartlett community, and we want to engage with the community. We want to do that. We want to partner with the community. We want them to recognize us as somebody that is providing resources, but also we want to be a good neighbor. And so we want to know the local businesses. We want to partner with them because it takes a village.
It does. And your headquarters is in Bartlett.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you've talked about how how you impact Youth Villages impacts the Bartlett area. So can you tell us how the community can help impact Youth Villages in terms of ways that they can volunteer, whether it's through drumming, through the food with class, the running club, any of those things? Can you talk about those a little bit?
Yes, ma'am. We have lots of opportunities that people can engage with the children that we serve in our Youth Village community. Specifically, the most important way that people can get involved is through our mentoring department. Not every child that we service or provide care to has a family that they will be going back to. And so when we have phone call days, kids might only have on their phone call list a caseworker, a lawyer, And so when we can have a mentor, even if it's just you taking a 10-minute phone call twice a week from that child, the impact that those 2 phone calls can have on that child can sustain him for time that people would not believe. Just having one person that you can talk to, confide in, spend some time with really means a lot to a child. So if anybody would like to mentor, there's an opportunity for that.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get a couple of volunteers here.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just great. Some of our children have really experienced hardships, trials and tribulations that a lot of us would not be able to believe. And we think the challenges we faced as going through adolescence and our teenage years, But when you look or you read or you hear about some of their stories, you want to give back. You want to see how you can get involved and help. So I always encourage anybody that can do that. We need mentors all the time. Joseph Wilson runs an excellent department. They're always taking people for that. We have a runners club. U Villages is all about wellness. We encourage that with our employees. We encourage that with the children. Healthy food options, fruit, 5Ks, things like that. But the Runners Club program is an initiative where the kids are able to run every Tuesday, every Saturday, and earn miles. And as they earn miles, they get rewards from that. But we love when people can come out and run with them. Just run it. Don't even have to talk. Just spend time encouraging, motivating that child to run. We go out in the community to 5Ks all the time. So if you can't make it on a Tuesday or a Saturday, you can join us on a Saturday. Typically, that's when the races are.
Saturday mornings.
Food with Class, excellent program, excellent program. Kids do all the cooking. They prepare the food. And then we go and provide catering to different businesses in the community. So if any community partner, any business would like us to bring in some food, we will cook anything they would like. Robust menu, but it gives the kids an opportunity to learn skills. They get paid, they clock in, they clock out. They have to keep themselves dressed neat because they're going in the community. Mm-hmm. And then they also talk about how the program has impacted them. Just some kids, it's learning to cook, but some of the kids are shy. They might not feel comfortable expressing themselves in front of people. Miss Mitchell, who runs an excellent program, she's over the Food with Class program. She prepares them to speak in public, to overcome fears, to overcome anxiety. So that's all helping that child get back into the community with the skills to be able to cook, but also the skills to be able to interact and engage with society. So that's all good stuff. And then we've got a plethora of other things, birthday heroes, backpack heroes.
We're familiar with Holiday Heroes because the Bartlett Chamber supports that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Holiday Heroes, that's actually where I first met Pierce. Him and a group of the chamber came out, were serving pizza, helping the kids open gifts. Pierce was dancing. It was a really good, fun time. And so
it was great, except for Pierce dancing.
They loved it. They loved it. Yeah, but that's always a great opportunity. You don't have to be, if you want to adopt a cottage, you can do that. Any business, hey, we just want to get these kids gifts for Christmas. That option is available. If you want to say, hey, we want to adopt this cottage, we're going to get them birthday gifts every time a kid in that cottage has birthdays, you can do that. If you want to just volunteer and say, hey, we want to do arts and crafts with these kids one day out the month, you can do that. So we encourage that. We need that.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So if anybody has any desire to volunteer, we'll put the information below.
Yes.
So that you'll have that, so that you can link directly to the right people with Youth Villages.
Absolutely. And if I could just, I got to witness Holiday Heroes for the first time this year. And to watch these kids, some of them in tears, just so grateful that people would give them gifts that they would not be able to get themselves. Some of these kids, I would imagine, have never had a Christmas.
Correct.
And so to be a part of that is incredible. And we have an exciting announcement. Hansen has told us, so when COVID hit, the people who could sponsor a child and buy those gifts was no longer able to come watch the child open the gifts. And if I'm not mistaken, we are now back to where you can come watch your child open these gifts. Is that true?
Yes, that is absolutely true. Like I said, it takes a village, it takes the community to help these young people be successful. And so if you're going to have a spirit of servitude to help promote this child being able to get back in the community, then yes, you deserve to be able to spend time and watch that child and experience that joy of that child opening those gifts.
That's awesome. Well, can you tell us about a program? I'm familiar with the program. It's near and dear to my heart. But can you explain what the LifeSet program is and how somebody might be able to maybe contribute financially to help that program out?
Yes, so our LifeSet is a very important program. That is for our children who may be aging out of our residential campuses or aging out of our foster care programs. What we do is help that child transition to the next phase, being an adult out here in the community. And so what the LifeSet worker will do is help that child set some goals and then put a plan in place to achieve those goals, whether that's going to college, finding a job, getting an apartment. There's a whole list of things that a child will have to do once they go out into the community. And so we want to make sure that we can help support them through that transition. You can't just give a child or give a person resources for a year, 2 years, and then just say, hey, you're out on your own. We're not going to do that.
Or when they become of age and all of the federal funds drop off.
Correct.
Then they're just kind of out on the street, and we absolutely don't want that. So their program is remarkable in that it's really a prototype for throughout the country.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think it's been award-winning as well.
Yes, it has. Our LifeSet program, our Guide Tree, and our Intercept programs.
Yeah. So can you talk about Intercept a little bit?
Yeah. So Intercept is honestly where we feel we want to serve most families because that's in-home. It's not on a residential campus. All kids are best served and will have the best results ultimately if we can provide the service in-home. With Intercept,
keeps the family together.
And Intercept, it's intense therapy that a worker comes in the home and is not just working with that child, but working with that family. So everybody's getting action steps for attainable goals that can help that family unit.
Because sometimes the parents don't know the right steps.
Correct.
They didn't learn from their parents. And so then you've got generations just trying to figure it out on their own. And so that's what Intercept really tries to weigh in and help with, right?
Yes, ma'am. There's a lot of challenges that can occur when you're dealing with a youth or a person that has mental health challenges or behavioral challenges, things like that. And so you need an intense approach sometimes. And so our Intercept workers go in that home and they provide that intense therapy. And that is what we want to do before a child has to be removed and go to the residential program. Now, if we do have to place a child in the residential program, and they're going back home, we want them to be able to have that service because it's going to be a transition. You've been on the campus, you've been receiving the therapy, you've got your goals. We want that to continue once they get back into the home so that they can be successful.
So it all translates.
Absolutely.
And y'all offer, there are youth village locations throughout the country.
Oh,
right?
Yes, ma'am. We have over 100 locations in 27 different states, including here in Memphis. We have a residential campus down in Inner Harbor in Georgia, Douglasville. We've got the Bartlett compound, and then we also have our Dogwood compound over in Lakeland. Then we have 3 group homes throughout Memphis, and then 3 group homes in the Nashville area.
And so when kids may be taken out of the home, say in Seattle or Chicago, they might come down to Memphis, live here, go through set up their goals, try to meet their goals, and then go back home, and they'll meet with Youth Village's staff in their home city. Right?
Yes, ma'am. If they have Intercept services, they can come to Memphis. We'll help encourage family sessions. Then when the child transitions back home, if we have Intercept in that location, the worker will come and provide that. The same goals, the same treatment plan will just transcend to the home to help secure that success.
Yeah, it's just a phenomenal program that they've got here at Youth Villages. It's just, you should be so proud.
Yes, we're so happy to have you in Bartlett and across the nation.
Yes, sir.
Mentioned. Hansen, I can hear the passion in your voice.
Oh, yeah.
I hear it, and I can tell that you need it in order to really carry on day to day.
You do.
So every child that comes through Youth Villages has a story. Is there any story in particular that stands out to you where you got to see a real impact made on a child's life? It's probably too many to
Over
count.
19 years, yes, I've had a lot. I think first group I worked with when I was at Dogwood, 2006, I'll call him JJ. Very, very challenging child. Aggression, anger, had abandonment, couple challenges that we were trying to work through. And he is one of those children that I had to make a lot of emotional deposits to him. But it all was worth it. He was one of our longer staying kids, and ultimately he was able to transition. But it really impacted me once what he did after. He was able to join the Air Force, started a family, had children, and now I haven't talked to him in probably 10, 12 years. Right. But just knowing that he was able to transition from where he was at, get in the community, join the armed forces, start a family, like that's what you want to see. You don't want his stay at Youth Villages and one of the campuses to hinder his future success. We want all these children to be successful, and we want to pour all the resources that we can into ensuring that child and that family's success.
Yeah.
Hansen, this, we've been talking about your job and your role, but this just sounds like your heart, man. This is your heart, right?
Yeah, I was raised in a family of servitude, and I think working at Youth Villages, you have to really have that passion. You've got to want to give back, and we do that at Youth Villages. We have a Our Family campaign where our employees pour back money into the organization. Every year, we supersede our goal. And so I think that right there just talks about the testament and commitment that our staff, our leadership, our CEO have when it comes to ensuring these kids be successful.
Wow. That's awesome.
It's a lot of lives that y'all have touched.
Yes, ma'am. And I hope we can touch a lot more. We try to provide the service that we can to kids. We try to be thorough with it so that we can transition that child successfully into the community so that we can provide services to somebody else, because mental health is real and a lot of people are struggling. A lot of people have challenges that they can overcome. And I think there's been a stigma surrounding mental health for years, but it's crumbling. And so now we all have a duty and obligation to help fix this.
Absolutely. The Youth Villages Bartlett campus has partnerships with businesses and organizations in the Bartlett community, one of those being with the Bartlett Police Department. Can you talk a little bit about y'all's relationship and why that's so important?
Yes. Chief Cox is amazing. He's a great guy. We're lucky to have him in Bartlett overseeing our police force. But he reached out to us a couple years ago and said, hey, I want to work on the way we're policing. I want to work on the way we're approaching individuals and children that have mental health issues. So that right there was the inception of what has been a great partnership. They come on the campus, do all types of activities with the kids. And I think that type of engagement is so vital because we have a lot of the children on the campus have a negative viewpoint of police. Some of the police have negative viewpoint of the kids on campus. Right. And so then being able to do fun things together has kind of brought down some of the stereotypes on both sides. And it's just been a very good, healthy collaboration. I'm actually going to see Chief next week, drop off some wings and sandwiches and cookies for those guys because they work hard, and being a police officer is a tough job. And we're just really appreciative to that collaboration we've been able to make with them.
Yeah, and I would imagine a lot of these situations that come up where you have a child in need, They're not always during 9 to 5 hours, are they? They come at all times of the night.
All times of the night. All times of the night. My leadership and I are on call 24/7.
Wow.
U Villages never closes. I've been working there 19 years and not one day have we been closed. We've been through a lot, but we've always stayed open, always helping children, always helping families.
So I know that you've got the catering, so they can check that out. But the drumming group, they also go out into the community.
Yeah.
I know we have had them out at the holiday market in the past. We've had them out a couple of years. So why don't you tell people how they can, what they do and what the best environment is for the drumming corps to come out.
So the drumming.
I'm going to say outdoors, isn't that?
Outdoors, yeah.
Well, outdoors, indoors.
Yeah.
Mr. Gordon and Adeyinka drumming will do it. Drumming has been going on for a while now, but Michael Gordon Spears heads it here in Memphis, and he's really put a spotlight on the drumming. They just did Africa in April. They just did another 5K race event. They did 3 events last week, as a matter of fact. But anybody that wants to book them can reach out to U Villages. We do grand openings. If you just want to have some drumming lessons with your employees or coworkers, all those options are available.
Yeah, it's really amazing. They all have a central beat that they have around, and then each individual child gets to come out and do their solo, and everybody else is supporting them with their constant beat, which is another tool of learning teamwork and learning that you've got to support the other so they can be their best.
And I've seen countless kids' confidence just grow from learning to drum, being able to go to a show, drum, and just hear the applause from the crowd.
Yeah.
People don't know the confidence and the motivation that gives our children, and they need that. They got to feel that. Yeah. And so whenever we can make those opportunities happen, I encourage you all, please reach out, utilize what we have, because the impact that it has on the children, I really can't even put it into words.
Yeah, I was on the drum line myself for a number of years. I loved it. And you probably remember the movie Drumline, right?
Absolutely.
With Leah Cannon.
Oh, yeah.
Great movie. But the discipline is there, right? I mean, it's a technical skill that you have to have. You got to listen, watch your director, all of those things. So it really all matters. So I can see how that would play a big role in teaching them something that they didn't know they could do. So that's really cool.
And being a musician my entire life, learning any type of music, whether it's just the percussion and I don't mean it in a negative way, just the percussion, but your brain learns a new language. And that is very helpful as well, because music has always tied communities together.
And they've also have some research where just the rhythm, it helps de-escalate those children. And so that's always, we don't have a lot of issues in the drumming room.
Yeah.
Because they know everybody, it's relaxing, it's calming.
That's awesome. Well, finally, Hansen, this has been great, man. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
I appreciate our friendship. I appreciate just everything that you've done. I appreciate your passion. If somebody wanted to get involved and wanted to do that immediately, what's the first step that they would take to do that?
Miss Anna Otto, she would be the point of contact. Anna.otto@youthvillages.org.
And we'll put that below as well.
And she can point, all they have to do is say drumming. She'll get you there.
Catering.
I want to be a mentor. I need food with class. She'll take care of it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you would like to share?
I really appreciate you all having me on here, allowing me to talk about youth villages and the work we're doing. And I don't really have much more to say. I really appreciate this.
Well, we appreciate you.
We appreciate it very much. And youth villages, like I said, they're making impact on youth's lives all across the country. But they're homegrown. They're right here in Bartlett, and we're very proud of them. And more power to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, bro.
Good to see you, man. Oh, almost fall over. That's that arm strength.
Yeah, I hear that all the time. People hate it when I be shaking
get back
their
to the
hands.
gym.
I get that all the time.
Well, we want to thank you for joining us for another episode of Heartbeat in Bartlett. We were with Youth Villages today. They taught us some great stuff. We want to thank our friends, our underwriters at First South Financial. We also want to give a big shout out to V2 Media. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, comment. If you enjoyed this content today, we would love to see that. So we will see you next time.